After I gave my daughter my old car, she blocked me and told the family I'd pressured her into debt. When I asked why, she said, "I don't owe anyone explanations." I felt used until I found the screenshot of her request and the payment history and what I sent to her employer. This is going to be long. I've been sitting with this for a while, and I don't really talk about it in real life because most people either don't believe me or think I must have done something to deserve it. Maybe writing it out will help. I, 51 female, have a daughter, 25 female, who used to be really close to me. She was my only child. I raised her mostly alone after her dad left when she was 6. He was never consistent with visits or support. I worked full-time, sometimes 2 jobs, to keep things together. We didn't have a lot, but I always made sure she had what she needed. I put her first every single time. We fought sometimes, like any mother and daughter. But I thought we had a strong relationship. I thought I could trust her. I thought she respected me. 3 years ago, she moved across the country for a job. She had just finished school and landed a decent entry-level position. She called me one night crying because her public transportation options weren't reliable and she was afraid she'd lose the job if she kept showing up late. She said she'd been looking at used cars, but the down payments and interest rates were too high. At the time, I had an older 2012 Honda Civic. Still ran great, decent mileage. I was planning to trade it in because I'd just bought a newer vehicle. I offered it to her. I said, "If you want it, it's yours." She said she'd be forever grateful and that she'd handle the insurance, registration, maintenance, everything. She just needed help getting it to her. I paid $900 to have it shipped out to her city. I didn't charge her for the car. Not $1. I could have sold it for a few thousand at least, but I wanted to help her get started. I was happy to do it. I was proud. About a week after it arrived, she asked me if I could temporarily cover the insurance because her first paycheck hadn't come in yet. I said fine. She said she'd take it over the next month. She didn't. Months went by. I brought it up maybe 3 or 4 times, always gently. I'd say, "Hey, just checking in about the insurance stuff." Every time she had a reason. Rent went up. She had to pay for car repairs. She said she was trying to get caught up. I didn't want to pressure her, so I let it go. But after a while I got nervous. The policy was still under my name. I logged in to check. Not only was it still active under my name, but she had upgraded the policy to a higher tier. She had added roadside assistance and rental coverage. And I was still paying for it, $168 a month, automatically withdrawn. I confronted her over text. I said, "I didn't agree to this. You told me you'd take over." She replied that she didn't feel safe driving without the coverage and she'd handle it soon. Then she stopped responding. A few days later, she blocked my number. Blocked me on Facebook too. I couldn't message her. Couldn't even see her profile. I was confused. Then I started hearing things from my sister. Apparently, my daughter had told the rest of the family that I forced her into taking the car and pressured her into debt. She said I used money to control her and that I expected obedience in exchange for help. My own sister believed her. She called me and asked why I'd put my daughter in that position. I tried to explain, but she clearly already had her mind made up. She told me I needed to respect her boundaries. I was completely blindsided. I didn't even understand what was happening. I had given her a free car, paid for insurance for over a year, and now I was being painted as some kind of manipulative villain. I emailed my daughter. Just asked if we could talk. Asked what was going on. I told her I was hurt, that I didn't understand. She wrote back, "I don't owe anyone explanations. I'm setting boundaries. Please respect that." That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement. No explanation. Just cold and final. I started second-guessing myself. I started wondering if maybe I had been too involved or if I'd guilt her without realizing. I talked to a therapist. She asked me if my daughter had actually asked for the car. That's when I went back through my old texts. She didn't just accept the car, she asked me for it. She literally wrote, "I'm so scared of losing this job. If there's any way I could use the Civic for a while, I'd be forever grateful. I'll take over all the costs." Please, Mom. I had the full message saved. I had the payment receipts from the insurance company. I had the invoice from the shipping company. I had the entire timeline. All of it in writing. She had rewritten the story for the rest of the family to make me look like a manipulator. And no one had even thought to ask me my side. I didn't do anything with that information for a long time. I just let it sit. I think part of me still hoped she'd come back and explain or apologize. But then I saw her LinkedIn update. She'd gotten promoted at work. She was doing fine. She had moved into a new apartment. She'd posted photos of a vacation. And I was still paying her insurance. Something snapped in me. I went to her company's website and found her department listed. Her supervisor's name and email were there. I didn't send a long message. I didn't rant. I just attached the documents. The original message where she asked for the car, the insurance receipts, the payment history, and one short sentence. Just thought you should know how she handles personal agreements and financial responsibilities. That's it. I didn't expect a reply. I didn't get one. But 3 weeks later, I got a short email from my daughter. Different email than she used before. You are disgusting. I hope you're proud of yourself. Don't ever contact me again. That's where things stand. I didn't answer her email. I didn't even open it again. I left it sitting there, unread after that first glance. I kept thinking, what kind of person calls their own mother disgusting after getting a free car and a year of paid insurance? I gave. She took. Then she turned me into the villain. I tried not to think about it. I kept my head down. Therapy helped. I stopped bringing her up around my sister. I didn't check her socials, even though I knew how to find her new ones. I was trying to move on. But I didn't cancel the insurance. I don't know why. Habit, maybe. Or guilt. Or maybe deep down, I was hoping if I left one door open, she'd come through it. A month after that last email, I got a letter from the DMV. Unpaid tickets. 3 of them. All tied to my name. Because the car was still registered under me. 2 speeding, 1 illegal turn. Over $700 combined. I couldn't breathe for a second. I called the number on the notice. They confirmed, yes, the car was still under my name. No, it didn't matter that she was driving it. Legally, the tickets were mine unless I could prove otherwise. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I emailed her again. Short, direct. You have 3 unpaid tickets under my name. You either pay them or transfer the car out of my name immediately. No response. 2 days later, my sister called me out of the blue. I hadn't heard from her since Thanksgiving. She sounded nervous. She said, I don't know what's going on between you and daughter's name, but she's saying you're harassing her at her job. I nearly dropped the phone. She said my daughter told her I'd been stalking her LinkedIn, sending messages to her boss, and threatening her with lawsuits. She said I was obsessed and trying to ruin her reputation. That's when I knew something bigger was going on. I asked my sister if she wanted to see the screenshots. The original message where my daughter begged for the car. The proof of payment. The DMV letters. She got quiet. Then she said, she told me you gave her the car as a trap. That you always hold things over her. A trap. A trap. I ended the call. I couldn't listen anymore. I went back into the insurance portal and canceled the policy. That same night, I got a voicemail from an unknown number. It was my daughter, clearly panicked.
Mom.
What the hell? The car insurance lapsed. I got pulled over. What are you doing? Are you trying to screw me over? Call me back. She sounded furious. But more than that, she sounded scared. I didn't call back. Next day, another email. If you don't fix this, I'll tell everyone what you've done to me. I'll go public if I have to. That's when I realized she wasn't afraid of me. She was afraid of being exposed. Because it wasn't just me she'd lied to. She told people at work that the car was hers. That her mother had cut her off and left her stranded. She had built a whole identity around being independent, self-made. And now the truth was starting to crack through. I sat there that night and opened a new folder on my desktop. Named it Receipts. Dragged every screenshot, every document, every email into it. Because I don't know what she's planning next. But I know it's not over. A week after I canceled the insurance, I got a letter from a lawyer. Not a lawsuit, just a formal cease and desist. On her behalf. It said I was harassing her, creating a hostile professional environment, and that any further contact would be considered stalking. They referenced the email I'd sent to her supervisor. They said I was jeopardizing her career with malicious intent. I sat at my kitchen table staring at it for a long time. I didn't feel angry. I felt numb. She had hired a lawyer to threaten me. After everything I gave her, I took it to my own lawyer. He read through it and told me not to panic. It wasn't a real lawsuit, just a warning letter. But he said something that stuck with me. This reads like she's setting up a narrative. I'd be careful. Don't delete anything. That's when I started digging again. I remembered she had used my address, my home address, when registering the car originally. I checked our old texts and, sure enough, she asked me to use it, just temporarily because her lease wasn't finalized yet when she moved. That was over a year ago. I logged into my state's DMV portal. She never changed it. The car was still registered at my house. And that meant any fines, fees, or legal notices were still being sent to me. I started checking public court records in her new state. I didn't expect to find anything, but I did. Small claims. Filed 3 weeks earlier. A towing company was suing her for $1,400. Apparently, the car had been towed from a permit-only lot, and she never paid the fees. The case listed her full name, but my address. My name, tied to the plates. My responsibility legally. She never told me. She never mentioned it once, even when she left me that angry voicemail about the insurance. I took screenshots, saved PDFs, added them all to the receipts folder. And then, 2 nights later, my mailbox got broken into. I didn't even notice until my neighbor texted me a photo. Our entire cluster of mailboxes had been pried open. The HOA sent out a warning about suspicious activity. Mail theft. Possibly targeted. I checked my camera footage. Nothing conclusive. Just a car pulling up late at night, headlights off. Driver never got out of the vehicle. Sat for a few minutes. Then left. The next day, I went to the DMV in person. I requested a full record on the vehicle. The clerk printed it out and asked, "Do you still want to be the registered owner?" I said, "No. I gave it to my daughter 2 years ago." She frowned. "There's no record of transfer." That's when it hit me. She never changed the title. She'd been driving the car for nearly 3 years. Never transferred the title. Never re-registered it. Everything was still legally under my name. And that meant if she hurt someone with that car, or worse, I was on the hook. My hands were shaking when I walked out of the building. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, thinking. She hadn't just used me. She'd left me holding the legal bag for everything she did. And now she was threatening me with lawyers, telling people I was harassing her, painting herself as the victim. But I wasn't done yet. I filed for a duplicate title that day. I told the clerk the truth. Car was never re-registered, still mine. I had proof. I didn't say what I was going to do with that title once I had it. Not yet. But I was done waiting. The duplicate title came in the mail 2 weeks later. I stared at the envelope for a while before opening it. My name, my VIN number, my car. Still mine legally. It felt like holding a key I didn't ask for, but maybe needed. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. Part of me wanted to send it to her with a bill for everything she owed. Part of me wanted to report the car stolen. But mostly, I just sat with it, trying to decide if I was done being her doormat. Then another twist. A coworker of mine, someone I've worked with for over a decade, pulled me aside at lunch one day. She looked uncomfortable. Said she'd seen my daughter on TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I'm not into any of that. She pulled out her phone and showed me the video. It was my daughter, talking to the camera. Clear as day. She was crying. I went no contact with my mom after years of emotional abuse. She tried to sabotage my job, stalked my boss, and now she's trying to take back the car she forced me to accept. She's threatening legal action. I just want to be left alone. The post had over 300,000 views. Thousands of comments. Most of them supportive. People calling me a narcissist. A control freak. a toxic parent, saying things like, "She's so brave for speaking out," and "Good for you for setting boundaries with your abusive mom." I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. She didn't just lie to our family anymore. She took it public. She turned herself into a victim, and me into the villain, in front of a literal audience. And then, this is what really broke something in me. I saw one of the comments from someone I didn't recognize. "Wait, isn't this the same girl who got sued by a tow company last month?" It had replies. A few people questioning her story. One said they worked with her briefly and quit because she was manipulative as hell. Another mentioned she had lied about having a sick parent to get time off. The cracks were showing. I didn't comment. I didn't like anything. I didn't even tell my coworker how badly that video made me feel. But I saved it. The next day, I got a notification from the DMV again. This time, they were informing me the registration had expired. And because I was still listed as the legal owner, I was liable for late fees. And that's when I made the call. I called the non-emergency line for her city's police department. I asked them what the process was for reclaiming an unreturned vehicle. The officer told me plainly, "If it's yours and you didn't report it stolen, and it hasn't been transferred or sold, technically, you can report it now and request a recovery." He told me I'd need to file a civil claim if she refused to return it. I asked, "What if she denies it's mine?" He said, "Do you have the title?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Then you have proof." I didn't file anything that day, but I started to draft something. And then, just to see what would happen, I tried logging back into the insurance portal, even though I'd canceled the policy weeks ago. That's when I saw a new application had been started. Same car, same VIN, same driver. Only this time, she had changed the address to my mother's house. She was trying to reinsure the car under my name again. Only this time, she was using a different address to get around the DMV flag. I called my mom. She said, "Oh, yeah." She asked if she could use my address just for some mail. I didn't think anything of it. I told her what she was doing, what she was trying to pull. My mom went silent for a minute. Then she said, "I don't want to be in the middle of this." I said, "You already are." So now, not only is she still driving a car she never legally owned, not only is she spreading lies about me online, not only is she putting me at legal risk with unpaid tickets, towing claims, and expired registration, she's trying to use my own mother's address to get around it. I haven't done anything drastic yet, but that folder on my desktop, receipts, is getting thicker by the day. And it's only a matter of time before she does something I can't fix quietly. 2 more weeks passed. By then, I had everything. The title, the unpaid tickets, screenshots of her TikTok, the cease and desist letter, even the new insurance application with my mother's address. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating well. I was just waiting. I knew she was going to slip again. I just didn't know when. Then one night, around 11 p.m., I got an alert from my bank. A charge for $198 from the same insurance company. My card. My name. My bank account. She had somehow gotten my information again and paid for a month of insurance on the car using my card. That was it. I opened the receipts folder. I compiled everything into one long PDF. Pages and pages of dates, screenshots, emails, DMV notices, bank charges. At the end, I attached the title, showing I was the legal owner. Then I called my lawyer. I said, "I'm ready." Within a week, we filed both a police report for unauthorized use of my vehicle and a civil claim for damages, fees, and fraud. We sent copies to her employer's HR department and their legal team because some of the fraudulent insurance paperwork had her work email attached to it. And then I did something I never thought I'd do. I posted my own TikTok. No theatrics. No yelling. Just me, sitting at my kitchen table. I showed the title with my name, the text where she begged for the car, the bank charges, the unpaid tickets, the letter from her lawyer. I didn't say a word about her personally, just this is what actually happened. I uploaded the video and went to bed. By morning, it had over 2 million views. People weren't kind to her. They dug up her old TikTok where she painted me as abusive and compared it side by side with my receipts. They noticed the lies. They found her towing lawsuit. They found her public records. Her comment section turned on her. Sponsors dropped her little independent woman brand deals she'd been doing on the side. Someone posted screenshots from Glassdoor reviews about her company. It spiraled fast. 3 days later, she called me from a blocked number. I answered. Her voice was shaking. "Mom, please. You're ruining my life. I could get fired. Please stop." I said, very calmly, "Return the car. Pay the tickets. Pay back what you took from my card. Then we're done." She started crying, saying she didn't have the money, that she'd lose everything, that I was supposed to protect her. And for a second, I almost felt sorry for her. But then I remembered the lawyer letter, the tickets, the lies, the TikTok, the 3 years of being painted as an abuser while she drained me dry. I said, "I did protect you. For years. Now I'm protecting myself." Then I hung up. 2 days later, the police called me. They had recovered the car from a parking lot near her apartment. It had been towed and impounded under my name. They said it would be held until the civil case was resolved. My lawyer called next. She had signed an agreement to return the vehicle, withdraw her claims of harassment, and pay me back in installments to avoid a larger judgment. If she defaulted, the court would garnish her wages. I didn't gloat. I didn't post another video. I just quietly deleted my TikTok and went back to my life. My sister finally called me, too. She admitted she'd been wrong. She said she didn't know the whole story. She said my daughter had been telling everyone I'd stolen her car. I told her, no. I took back what was already mine. The car sits in my driveway now. It's dirty, scratched, with fast food wrappers stuffed in the back seat. It smells like someone else's life. I'm selling it this week. And as for my daughter, she's blocked everywhere. No email, no calls, no door left open. Because the truth is, I made my mistake too. I kept saving her. I kept letting her use me. I kept thinking love meant rescue. It doesn't. Sometimes love means letting someone crash into the wall they've been building and stepping back while they finally feel it. I'm done being the wall. And for the first time in years, I feel free.